Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Andrew Tate once more. Consider this an update, if you will. Yikes. So as I'm filming, this is only a couple hours before this video is going to go live. However, I strongly suggest that if you're interested in this, after the video, you check because there are updates coming out basically pretty randomly. I waited for the court appearance to occur because that was the most central thing, I think. So we're going to talk about that. So before I get into the court thing, I did want to mention a weird happening. I don't even know what to call it. But basically, Logan Paul has been under fire. And you're going to ask, why the fuck are we talking about Logan Paul? Well, it seems like there's some connection with Andrew Tate. So you guys know how Andrew Tate goes on about like the Matrix and everything, which is basically just consequences of his actions, but he calls it the Matrix. This Matrix concept, well, guess who brought it up? Someone else who's under fire, Logan Paul. Now, if you haven't been following, very briefly, Logan Paul was under fire because he had bought this pig. This pig was then found and rescued. It was all over Twitter, and it seems like Logan Paul put this pig in the care of someone else when he moved, but the person he gave the pig to, Pearl, that's the name of the pig, the person he gave Pearl to also moved or something occurred, and this pig ended up being abandoned, found in horrible conditions, but he's been under fire, and guess what he started mentioning? The Matrix. So I don't know if now every time an influencer fucks up or, you know, breaks the law, it's the Matrix, but just look at this. So Logan Paul says, "The Matrix is real, pray you never become its target." Which immediately made me think of Andrew Tate because he's been going off about the Matrix. And rightfully so, people called him out being like, no, you're just being held accountable for your shitty actions. And there are some pretty funny replies to that tweet, so if I were you, I'd go check. But anyway, Andrew Tate responded to that tweet saying, "You are the Matrix, you are an agent, but the Matrix is cracking and now you will pay the price." And I'm sorry, I kind of have to laugh at that because Logan Paul may be an absolute moron. There are a lot of adjectives I could use here. Let's just leave it at moron. Definitely not someone I respect. But from someone who's being accused of sex trafficking to tell someone that they're the Matrix and now they're gonna pay the price, it's like, dude, you're being accused of like holding women hostage and forcing them to make porn under duress. So to tell this guy that he's gonna pay the price, but you know, there's an irony there that I think was lost on him, but then again, maybe they don't teach you that in Hustler University. Moving on. So let's talk about the court case in Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate. Andrew Tate loses legal appeal to end detention in Romania. Romanian court denies challenge and rules he must serve a full 30 days along with brother and 2 female suspects. A Romanian court has rejected Andrew Tate's appeal against his detention, ruling that the former kickboxer, influencer, and professed misogynist must remain in custody while an organized crime investigation continues. Tate, 36, and his brother Tristan, 34, and 2 Romanian female suspects were arrested by prosecutors on December 29th on suspicion of human trafficking, rape, and forming an organized crime group to exploit women. Both men have denied wrongdoing. "I'm very disappointed. The measure seems excessive to me," the brothers' lawyer, Vidiniak, I don't know how to pronounce it, apologies, told local media after the ruling, which was announced several hours after the 2 brothers left the courthouse after a 6-hour hearing. A total of 15 luxury cars and more than 10 properties or plots of land have so far been seized in Romania. The country's organized crime agency said the belongings were confiscated to prevent them being concealed, to help pay for the investigation, and to pay damages to victims if the suspects are convicted. The agency and prosecutors in the Romanian capital allege that the 2 brothers recruited their victims by seducing them, which is something we kind of already discussed. A relationship was kind of promised, and then that's how they got them to come, and that's how the trafficking allegedly might have begun. And then this is where it becomes a lot creepier. The victims were then allegedly taken to properties on the outskirts of Bucharest, where they were forced through physical violence, mental intimidation, and coercion to produce pornographic content for social media sites, generating large profits. Prosecutors have said the investigation, launched after one of the brothers allegedly raped one of the trafficked women last March, had so far identified 6 victims. DICOT, which is the organized crime agency, released videos showing guns, knives, and money at the scene of the Tate's arrest. So I think as much as there have been jokes made at the expense of Andrew Tate because of his alpha bullshit, really this is continuing to take a darker and darker turn, not only because there have also been articles, and I didn't really want to get into that, but there have been articles out there where teachers in schools are dealing with young boys, young men being inspired by Andrew Tate doing really fucked up and saying fucked up shit at school. There are already consequences with Andrew Tate. Once we started talking about human trafficking, things have quickly gotten extremely grim. A judge who last week extended their preventive detention from 24 hours to 30 days said that given their, quote, financial capacity, the possibility the brothers may evade investigation, leave Romania, and settle in countries that do not allow extradition cannot be ignored. Now, that's also the other thing. I do think it's normal that nobody wants to show up to court. No one's excited to show up to court, be put on the stand, especially if they're accused of something. But even just the fact that they kind of expect Tate to run away, to leave, to go somewhere where he's not facing consequences, to me says something. Allegedly, the reason why he was in Romania in the first place, this is not a verbatim quote, but there was mention on the internet that he'd said that he wanted to go to a place where corruption was more prevalent, shall we say, and also because apparently there were already some things going on in the UK that he was potentially legally in trouble for, so he was maybe already running away from something. Again, these are all things I've seen circulating, but I haven't seen proof for, so I'm just gonna put that there as a possibility. So the lawyer, insisted there was not a single piece of evidence apart from the victim's statement leading to the idea that a crime of rape was committed, and no evidence either regarding offenses of human trafficking and organized crime. Vidinak said he believed Tate had been playing a particular kind of character on social media that may bear no relation to real life. Can intent on social media stand as evidence in a criminal prosecution case? Now, I thought this point was interesting because in its own way, like, yeah, someone may be playing a character, someone may be emphasizing certain aspects of their personality to generate more outrage, to generate more clicks, and that's totally not fine, but it is what it is. That's not a crime. The thing is, once you start admitting to crimes on podcasts via your videos, when do we decide, okay, then we have to look into it? To me, it's a relatively clear line. Once someone gets into a character enough that the public believes they're being 100% that's who they are, maybe that's when you look into it, because basically anyone could end up using that excuse of like, oh yeah, that one guy who was recorded saying that he murdered someone and dumped them in a ditch, oh, that was a character. I feel like you could use that as an out in so many different cases. Anyone with, I don't know, a quarter of a brain cell wouldn't seriously come online, be misogynistic, basically admit to a couple of crimes online, and then expect any level-headed human to be like, oh yeah, that was just a character, like who cares? Truly, I feel like there are a number of real weird scenarios that this lawyer is trying to make add up, which I get it, it's his job, but these are not believable scenarios. Like, this is just a character, okay, but there are a lot of actions that make that character actually who he is, the real person, so I feel insane when I talk about this because truly it seems like a lot of it is right in front of our faces. And again, let the courts figure shit out, but let's not pretend like there's no reason to be suspicious of this man. Whether you like him or not, you can't act like there aren't reasons to think he may be involved in criminal shit. And I got also a couple of DMs telling me, oh well, he's not wrong, you know, like this woman did so and so, and it's like, okay, we're not gonna go into, you know, he's not wrong. If you knew a girl 5 years ago who was your cousin's sister's best friend's mother, no, okay? Just because you know one person who apparently fits Andrew Tate's idea of what women are like, that doesn't mean he's right. He's bound to be right about something, because if you just keep talking out of your ass 24/7, one thing will end up making sense. That doesn't mean he is an all-knowing guru by any means. So, the hospital visit. So, in terms of Andrew Tate's health, I don't want to talk at length about it because I don't like to speculate on people's health. It's pointless. We are going to talk about what's been mentioned in regards of him going to the hospital, because that was a big news story that broke because people were wondering if something happened while he was in prison. So we're just going to talk about that, but let's not speculate. Let's not hope he has some disease. Let's not hope he dies. Like, that shit is off limit for me at any given point, no matter how much I disagree, despise, whatever. No. Citing Romanian news source NFT Technologies co-founder and CEO Mario Nawfal, I don't know, shared more information about the hospital visit on Twitter, stating that while there are conflicting reports, it seems a doctor discovered an ailment during a routine checkup. However, it also seems that Tate has returned to the Central Detention Center of the Capitol Police. So the ailment doesn't seem to be an emergency. So this is what the NFT Technologies co-founder Mario Nawfal said. Sources have told me that Tate does suffer from heart conditions and has seen a heart specialist in Paris regularly. Although some are speculating this to be Tate orchestrating an escape, I highly doubt this, but it would make for an epic space. Like really, we're talking about a potential human trafficker trying to escape and it would be like a fun space. However, at Alpha Era, that already sounds promising, who states himself to be a close associate of Tate, disputed the tweet in question. Yes, it's true, Andrew was taken to the hospital, he's okay. No more info available, sorry, I can't answer all DMs, too many of them. So then he also responds to Nawfal, who had mentioned the heart conditions, and he says, Tate has not seen a heart specialist in Paris regularly. Not sure where you got that one from. Source, I travel with Tate. Also, he absolutely hates Paris. Do better with your quote-unquote reporting, Mario. This person is allegedly close to Tate, but we have no proof of who in the goddamn hell this person is. So I looked into the sartorial shooter in terms of his social media. I looked on Google, couldn't find much aside from his social media. Now, he posted a song that is supposed to show support for his best friend, according to the video he posts for Andrew Tate, his best friend. Aside from that, he also then on his story posted Teal Swan. Now, if you don't know who Teal Swan is, I actually was going to do like a whole investigation on her because she has been accused of a lot of things, one of which is running a cult, so that's probably not really the person you want to rely on to make a point about anything ever. Regardless, it doesn't even matter what the Tate ailment really is, as long as we know that it is not an emergency and that we know that he's back in the detention center. Aside from that, it's really none of our business and it doesn't affect the case. I only brought it up because it did make the headlines. Frankly, I think it's a good idea to keep Tate where he is, simply because, as the courts noted, it wouldn't be that hard for him to fly out somewhere where he can, in some ways, escape the consequences if he is in fact guilty of anything, and he can just escape the situation in its entirety. So I am not against that. I also think for charges like human trafficking and so on, 30 days doesn't even feel like it's that insane. Based on everything that Tate has said and done online, it doesn't really surprise me that they are investigating him, along with finding the knives and so on, along with his brother, along with the potential rape victim, along with what he's posted online about women and them not being allowed to go out and so on and so forth. At this point, I think it mandates an investigation because there's just so much going on that you have to wonder, up until what point do we say this is a character? Up until what point do we give it a pass? And I think that point has long gone. There should be an in-depth investigation at this point, and I hope that that is effectively what's happening, but I guess we'll see what occurs. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.